Hey guys, Boris Lazar from BK. Great to be with you. By the way, this week we added BK Forex to our URL, so you can just type in BK Forex instead of BK Forex Advisors to come to the website. Makes it a lot easier for you to be able to navigate the website. I'm going to go deeper and stronger and delve much more further into the RSI Bungee Jump setup because I've been trading it all week. And of course, as I explained in my column this week, when you trade something live, you discover a whole bunch of nuances that really refine the setup. That this is the critical reason why I'm a huge believer in trading things live after you have an idea behind something, because the things that happen in the back test never really show up until you trade them actually live. So the first and foremost thing that kind of popped out at me is, remember last week we talked about the idea that we want to only trade the RSI Bungee Jump, which is basically taking the long once the RSI goes to 65 or higher on the hourly, and taking the short once it goes to 35 or lower on the hourly, only when we're within trend. And I think this week it really showed itself to be true in dollar yen as a good example. Here's dollar yen, by the way. This is me. Here's a good example of why it worked and why I did a couple of idiotic things. Me shorting dollar yen. This is March 19th, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why this was a bad trade. So here's the daily. Daily is a 10 period SMA is what I'm using basically as my trend. March 19th. What the hell is the trend? The trend is up. What am I doing? I'm shorting. What do I get? I get stopped out. Oops, what happened to my thing here? Oops, bear with me. Daily in 1 hour. Okay. All right, so here's the 1 hour chart. So that's the whole point. It is truly idiotic for me to short against trend in the trade. Now on the other hand, I go long here. One of the most interesting things here, by the way, is here's the breakout. RSI does come in, and it slips against me quite heavily. This is the reason why I use the 50-point stop, but it recovers and does hit the long target. Then the next day, one of the more interesting things is that we change around. The trend now starts to change to the downside, and I'm able to take the short trade, and I flip myself around and get short over here, and the short trade hits as well to the downside. Now we're pretty much always in the short trade. There was no trades today because it was just kind of no acceleration. But actually there was, but I was just too busy with other things to really take the trade. But let me see. Could I have taken this trade? Yeah, this is actually interesting. I probably could have taken this trade, right? Around 9 o'clock, around 82.50, and it went all the way down to 8200. Certainly would have given us the 30 points. The interesting thing here, by the way, is that there are people that have been asking me on Twitter. Let me just leave this up here. People have been asking me on Twitter, do I manage my stops? In other words, once I get into a trade, do I trail my stops? And the answer is absolutely no, because remember, when you're doing these kind of momentum trades, it's exactly like playing cards of poker. It's exactly like playing cards of blackjack. You basically have to deal your hand. If you constantly adjust your stop and trail your stop, what you're doing basically is robbing yourself of the possible payout. The payoff, the risk is 50, the payoff is 30. Play the cards. If you're 65% or better, you're making money. That's the whole idea. If you start screwing around with the payoffs, then you're completely screwing around with the setup. The key thing is, and the way to improve the setup, is to try to make as many winning hands as possible, to try to raise the 65 to 70. And you do that by, one, staying on trend. And here's the other thing that I kind of wanted to show you. Just bear with me here. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. The other thing that I want to show you is, here's the pound. And bear with me. I'm floundering around here. So here's the pound, right? Now the pound is in an uptrend. The day before, it's sort of like, it flounders all the way down to the 10 SMA, but it really does not come off the uptrend. It still remains in an uptrend, right? So here's the critical thing, though. Yes, you want to get long on the pound. And where's my pounds? Where's my pounds? Here's my pounds. But this is where the other filtration comes in. You want to get long pounds. This is, by the way, another stupid trade. Okay, the trend is to the upside. Why am I shorting? Okay, yeah, there was negative news, but it's still in the uptrend. I shorted into the downtrend, got stopped out. Of course, there it goes. I earned my loss. But here's the interesting point that I want to show you. Here's the pound as we see it. It's on the uptrend, right? Yes, this is just to show you the dates. This is March 21st, right? So we're going to align this up so you can see this an uptrend. Here's the uptrend, March 21st, blah blah blah, right? So presumably you can take the trade here, but this was a trade right before the BOE minutes. And one of the critical things that I'm adopting into the RSI Bungee Jump is the stuff that I've refined in the flow setup, which is why the flow setup is so popular and so effective. Is if you are front running an event, you're being an idiot because you're basically guessing the event's direction. So even if you get a signal technically to go long ahead of the event, the smart thing is to let the event occur. If the event is positive, there's still going to be enough juice for you to follow through. If the event is negative, then you've just avoided this exact same thing. Because despite the fact the pound was in an uptrend, despite the fact that we had lots of momentum, this is basically nothing more than the market speculating that the event was going to be good. An event comes out bad, that surprises the market and creates a lot of negative flow, and you get stopped out right away. So the key thing is that you want to be able to trade both with a trend, but outside of predictable event risk. That's the key thing to how you want to make this stuff work. Now, the good thing is, at the end of the week, I finally learned my lessons. I flipped to the positive side once the trend starts to go up. I got stopped out. I flipped immediately to the opposite side because the momentum really spiked up. Within 2 hours, I made money on the pound. And of course, let's just take a look at the thing. Same thing with the euro. I was shorting the euro in an uptrend like an idiot, got stopped out, and flipped out and made money on the other way. So that's pretty much how the whole thing shapes up. The key thing to the RSI Bungee Jump, in my opinion now, is to three things. Obviously, you want to take the momentum trades at 65 to 35. You want to only take trades in the direction of the trend. So if the daily price action is in the uptrend, doesn't matter, you get downside signals, you don't take those. And third, and most importantly, is you want to take signals as much as possible away from event risk. In other words, you don't want to stand in front of event risk and try to guess where the price action goes in order to minimize all of those bad hands. And lastly, I guess this is going to be my fourth thing, is to answer everybody else's questions, is no, I don't change my risk-reward parameters. I want to trade as many hands as possible and get as high a percentage win as I can. Euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, Aussie dollar. By the way, here's the Aussie dollar trades this week that actually worked very well. Aussie dollar, this is me screwing around, but this is a perfect example. Aussie dollar is in a downtrend, and I short the downtrend, and it works beautifully. And this is actually the first, I would say, the most classic executed trade of the day. Let me just show you the Aussie dollar daily, just to show you why this works. So this is what day is this? This is March 22nd, right? So just to complete and give you an idea of why this worked, March 22nd, where the heck are we? March 22nd, we're in a downtrend. Obviously, taking a down signal was a very, very smart thing to do. So I'm wishing you guys the best of luck, the best of trading, more flow trades, more swing trades in bkforex.com. Come visit us next week. Wishing you guys the best of luck. See you on Twitter. Boris Schlossberg over and out.